One thing that agencies and online marketers do that absolutely pisses me off is gatekeep the pricing. Now, I understand that there's a psychological benefit to it, right? Like if I reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in your coaching program, and they're like, cool, let's make sure you're a fit. Everyone's a freaking fit, but they just want to pull me through the process, right? Let's make sure you're a fit. And I'm like, well, how much is it? And they're like, well, it depends on what you need and da 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 and all this shit. Like, I've read enough books to understand what's going on here, and I just hate it. It just seems so sleazy. And I understand the concept. And when I started building my agency, I almost went that direction. But then I was like, well, shit, I'm going to pre-qualify people. I'm going to save myself a lot of time by saying, hey, here's how much it is. Because the reality is there's a lot of people that's not even a thing. Like Apple doesn't do that, right? Imagine if Apple did this and they're like, oh, we have a good computer, a better computer, and a best computer. Or shit, maybe this is all from, I have a story about this. I'll get on it in a minute. But maybe they're like, we sell computers. And you're like, cool, how much? And they're like, well, it depends what you need. And thinking about it now, maybe that is a good concept, right? But it's like, damn, if I want to buy the best computer, just let me buy the best computer. If I can't afford the best computer, I'm going to buy the one that I can afford, right? If I like Apple. And I think the concept here is build a powerful, compelling brand that people want to work with. So they will say, shit, this costs $4,000 a month. I need to get to that level so that I can afford it. Instead of saying, shit, how much does it cost? You waste hours of your time talking to them and they're like, wow, that really is not in my budget. And you're like, oh, all right, talk to you later. Like there is a guy, he has a video agency and I saw a clip from him and I was like, wow, that could be really helpful for me, right? I saw the clip. I liked the way that he was talking about it. So I went to the website, no place to buy, just a free training. I think it was free training. And so I did it, typical go high level setup, fill out the free training, get an email, get a text. Hey, how can we help you? And I'm like, I was like, here's what I want. I was interested in it. I want to do, I saw a video with some coaching calls. I want to know what that looks like. What does the program look like? Well, we need to learn a little bit about you first. So let's set up a discovery call, right? It's all this lingo. And I'm like, look, I make X amount a month. Here's how I'm getting my business, mostly referrals, blah, 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 right? I list it all out, like every pre-qualifying. And that's what I'm like, what are your other pre-qualifying questions so you can see? And he's like, cool. Well, it looks like the best step now would to get you with a strategy advisor so we could come up with a strategy. And I'm like, brother, I'm just trying to spend money with you. Just tell me how much the service costs. How much is the service? And so I can buy it and start going, I'm thinking maybe up to $1,500 a month. I would pay up to $1,500 a month. And now maybe it's more, right? It's probably not. Like that's a pretty good chunk of money. I don't know very many programs that are less than that or more than that, especially for this. The guy has like a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube. It's like he's doing okay with the agency, but I don't think he's like Tony Robbins. You know what I mean? So I was like, just tell me how much. He's like, well, we don't even know if we can help you yet. It's like, bro, let me spend my money. And here's the thing. It's really, to me, what it seemed like was happening was they're looking at it like, okay, well, let's get some more questions. Let's ask for commitments. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's figure out how much money he's making so we can base our pricing off of that. If I was making $5K a month, maybe they'd pitch me at $500 a month. If I was making $50K a month, maybe they'd pitch me at $5K a month, right? If I was making $50K, yeah. Anyway, 10%. Maybe they would do that. That's what I was worried about. And I'm like, dude, just tell me what it cost. The fact that he didn't even have a range, like, oh, well, it depends on what you get, but it could be between this and this. Not even that. And I'm like, so frustrated. And I ended up just nothing happening. I started working with a coach for a couple thousand a month instead, a business coach, not even as a video guy. So it's like, anyway, that experience helped me realize the way that I want to build my agency and the way that I want to shape it. I want to be upfront. My pricing is this. Here's what you get. Does that make sense for you? If it doesn't, that's okay. Here's another offer that might make sense for you. And this offer is going to hopefully ascend people, help them get to the point where this offer does make sense to them. But I want it to be upfront. I don't want people to book a discovery call. I don't want to waste time on the phone if they're not there yet, and I want to do everything I can to help them get there by putting out free content, by putting out training videos and getting them into that lower level program. But I don't want to do that dance. And I was talking to a coach about it too. And he's like, yeah, it makes you feel like you're kind of undervalued, right? Or like the service that I'm going to get depends on the amount I'm paying. I don't want that either. Like, what is the program? What are you offering? And what do I get? What do I need to spend? And I really just want to outline it like that. And I think it makes it very simple, right? I can get a MacBook Pro. I can get a MacBook Air. I know the prices of each. If I really think I need this, then I'm going to save the money and do this. If I don't, then I'm going to get this. And if I get a worse experience, it's my fault because I know this option's there. I just won't spend the money on it, right? And I think putting the content out there, building your agency around that way is going to be really beneficial. So I've been upfront. I have my pricing listed on my website. A lot of my content or my leads come from referrals who don't see my website. So when we talk, I'm like, hey, it ranges from this to this. If that makes sense, cool, let's keep going. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And I just want to be super upfront with them. And I don't want them to feel like I'm dancing around and I'm fishing like, oh, well, how much does your business make? And I hear a big number. I'm like, ooh, hell yeah, I can jack up the prices. I want to work the margins in so I can deliver what I can deliver for the price that I can deliver. And that's it. Give them good service. Like, that's how I want to build it. And my recommendation for you is that you build your agency the same way. Set a price that you can make enough money off of, that you can deliver on, and that gets results. Set it there and sell the hell out of it. Don't I promise I found myself the last few months going like, well, shit, I probably could get them to say yes at 2,000 instead of pushing for 4,000 just because I want the work and I want the money. And then what I find myself doing is they're not super happy with it. They're getting the same service as the higher clients. They're not as impressed with it because they didn't spend as much. I'm working just as hard for half the money and I'm mad. They're mad. Everyone's mad. If I just sat there stuck with it, maybe they'd say no, that'd be okay. Somebody else would come along. And going forward, that's how I'm going to shift it. So that's kind of a big learning lesson that I had today that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have questions, you need help with your agency, let me know. Let's grow our agencies together.